organization seem to really know that much about. But the categories that the terms that I will usually use in order to try to cover most of the ground of this category of topics would be aliens, extraterrestrials, UFOs, UAPs, and of course my term. The levitation craft is actually my term that I came up with.
Mm-hmm. Let me just invite people to your Discord. Please join us on Discord with a link to your room. Okay, so we can begin the conversation slash debate slash talk slash anything goes slash. Okay, so you call UFO slash UAPs, you call them levitation crafts.
Yeah, that is my preferred term for what I think these things are.
Mm-hmm. So why do you call them that?
It makes sense to me that their levitation craft. Yeah, I mean, you might call them UFOs or flying. Historically, they've been known as what are called flying saucers. But to say that they're flying is not necessarily the most accurate term because to fly is usually supported by what is it, in aerodynamics, the lift. So you're gonna typically gonna have wings or a propeller
Mm-hmm.
in order to push yourself off of the atmosphere itself. Whereas these levitation devices, they just seem to just float, and they seem to generate their own levitation effect, so to speak.
All right. So what's your evidence that they exist? These levitation crafts exist.
Okay, as for the evidence of these craft being in existence, probably the strongest evidence that's available to us, that even any of your viewers can also learn how to do it themselves, is a mental psychic viewing ability known as advanced scientific remote viewing.
Did you say? Did you say psychic?
And
Did you say psychic?
yeah, it was historically started out as a psychic spy program by part of the U.S. military. It was originally known as Stargate, and when the data is collected blind, so basically the viewers, they're given a target. They're not told what the target is. They're just told, here's the target. It's a randomly generated set of numbers and or letters, and then they do a session. It typically takes at least an hour or more for them to get all the information that they're looking for, and then they submit their session, and then they're revealed what the
Wait,
target is
wait,
afterwards.
wait, wait. So you're saying, can we conduct this experiment right now with me?
It, I mean, it would take a while.
Okay.
Remote viewing is not it's not a it's not a 5 minute thing. Like, you're gonna take at least a couple of hours doing a paper session, because the way that it works is basically it's like you're grabbing pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, so you don't know exactly what you're viewing until until you get enough pieces of the puzzle to piece it together, and
Why
then
does
later
it?
on, maybe
Why?
about an hour.
Hold on. Why does it take hours? Why can't we do it in seconds? Why should it take hours?
This is a perceptual ability where it's not like your conscious awareness. You're going into a different brainwave state, picking up information on a
I happen,
on a
I
subconscious level.
I understand. I happen to be a brain researcher, so as far as I know, so explain what. Why should it take hours and not seconds? I don't understand.
Because of the way that the protocols are designed. It's just the way that the protocols are set up in order to get accurate information.
Let's try and reproduce the results of this experiment in seconds so that at least I understand the experiment, and then maybe we can take longer times to conduct longer experiments as per your protocol. So let's start with just the protocol. So what should I do to reproduce the results of the experiment? Have you ever been able to reproduce the results of these experiments?
I did start learning how to do remote viewing myself. I haven't done the same targets that the other remote viewers have done, but
Wait, hold on. So
when the target
wait, let me just be clear. So you have not reproduced the results of the experiments?
No, I have reproduced the results of a training experiment that was done because I got the same, because when the target reveal was done after, I was doing the learning how to do the gestalts. By the time the target reveal was done, the target turned out to look pretty close to what I thought it was.
How do you confirm that you have good results or bad results? How do you measure what's good result or what's a I mean, what like how do you what's your metric by which you confirm or invalidate the experiment, the results of the experiment?
There are different ways to confirm and validate it. There's actually plenty of videos that have been uploaded by the Farsight Institute where they actually show you what these remote viewing sessions look like. Like how much time do we have? Because there's a number of them where there's like different video
I mean,
lengths. Um,
I'd like to try and and run the experiment. I'd like you to go through the protocol quickly so we can try and reproduce it, so that at least I know what we're trying to reproduce. And then we can give it a few seconds, and either way, then we can continue the discussion. I'm just curious what this experiment. What's the protocol? So
Well, it's not a one protocol. It's a complicated set of protocols. You can actually learn how to do it yourself from the Farsight Institute. I'll actually go ahead and post a website down in the side chat here.
Mhm.
Let's see if it loads up.
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean,
So
but look, you're saying you didn't reproduce it yourself. So let's skip it for
not
now.
the,
Mhm.
yeah, I said not the same targets. They've done a number of targets. I've practiced on other targets, but not these
I
particular
I
targets.
honestly
But I do plan to practice on them later
I
on.
understand. I honestly don't understand what you're saying, because like when somebody says UFOs, UAPs, levitation, crafts, I completely understand. We can discuss the physics, and it would be really straightforward. Once you start saying psychic, then I'm a little bit confused how psychic relates to UFO, UAP, levitation craft. It's like UFO, UAP, levitation, we can easily get evidence for with a camera or with eyewitness testimony. We could. It's straightforward
Uh,
to
Okay, how about we come back to this remote viewing thing another time? Uh, and as far as the evidence for being able to actually see the UFOs for yourself, there's actually a way to do it if you have a high-speed shutter camera that's capable of filming at least 4K resolution. Um, and then but you also need to film it in the infrared spectrum. Now, back in the 1950s and 60s, there was a UFO
let me
researcher
no, no.
by the
Wait, slow down. Let me ask some questions. I don't want you to go into monologues. I get lost. Let me ask questions, so to try and understand what you have in mind, so you can try and convince me of it, and I will try to convince you of my what's in my mind. Anyway, so you said levitation craft. That sounds like. So have you ever do you have any evidence of any levitation craft?
Well, let's talk about the physics of how that would work. Are
Wait,
you
before,
familiar with Lenz's law?
wait, hold on, hold on. We can discuss the physics, but first, do you have any evidence that you can present? Any photos, any videos, eyewitness, something of levitation craft. So we, first let's get the empirics out of the way. Like, do you have any evidence?
I can certainly post links to videos which show these sorts of things.
Just give me one.
How about this
Just
one here?
okay.
So that would be an example. 50 minutes of UFO videos and photos from all over the world.
There's no audio, right? Is there an is there an audio?
I'm
I don't
I'm
hear.
not the one who produced that video. Uh, you uh, I guess there might not be audio on this one,
And
but
there's
it is,
and there's no
showing,
and there's no sub.
various photos.
Yeah, but there's no subtitles. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, there's subtitles.
yeah, but it's tiny. No, I can't. I'm streaming this tab, so I can't stream another tab. Yeah, the pictures. And I'm used to this. The pictures are unclear, so and they're easily. I mean, we can go picture by picture and debate each one and discuss each one. Like you could easily explain each of these pictures as something other than UFO or anything. These could be.
Oh my God. Right
Oh,
when I
now
hit
we have
record,
audio.
at that second, the object was
Yeah,
passing
now we got
straight over
audio.
the top of my
Yeah.
house. And what I got on
Okay.
tape
It's very
was a disc-shaped
unclear.
object
Yeah.
turned on its
So
side.
this could easily be faked. I mean, there's at least a few ways that I can think of right now to fake this video. So
Well, any video can be faked. I mean, there's even videos showing, facial reenactment where there's a target actor, and then the output
So hold
shows
on.
a
So
face of Vladimir.
let me give you an example of a video that is I find it difficult to fake. So for example, there was a meteorite that hit Russia a couple of years ago. And in the beginning, I thought it was fake. The first videos that came out, I completely ignored them because it looked fake. But more and more and more videos came in from more and more angles and more evidence. And then we saw the evidence of shattered glass, and we actually saw evidence of the shattered meteorite. So as the evidence started accumulating, yeah, it looked like it really happened. And then we had an explanation where it came from, why we couldn't see it coming in, and how and then so on. So that's something that if that's something that's like that's clear cut evidence. I'll tell you something else. I think I actually believe Oumuamua is an alien spacecraft. That's the simplest and basically only explanation I find for Oumuamua is that it's an alien technology or alien garbage, technology garbage, or something like that. So it's not. I'm not denying aliens. I'm not denying UFOs. But like, are you familiar with Oumuamua?
Yes, yes, I read about that in a book that I was looking up at the local library recently, and that was specifically what was mentioned by the what was that author's name? Anyway, the title of that
Doctor.
book was
His
Extraterrestrial.
name is Doctor Professor Avi Loeb.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, yeah. I actually have emails back and forth with him. Yeah. So I am convinced that that's alien tech. There's no doubt, and like minimal doubt in my mind that that's alien tech. And then he also found probably another piece of alien tech that crashed on Earth, and the military saw it incoming, and they pinpointed the crash location in the ocean. And again, Dr. Loeb went and collected pieces. And again, the only explanation is it's alien tech. It's melted, it's thoroughly melted alien tech, but the makeup is tech. It's technological in nature. The chemistry, that's what we'd expect if we would have Voyager, any of the Voyagers crash on Earth and burn and melt as they come in, and get vaporized as they come in and crash into the ocean. We'd expect to find exactly what he found, so, or something similar. So there's plenty at this point. There is plenty of evidence for actual alien tech in our cosmic background, cosmic backyard. So I'm not. I don't
Okay, well,
have. Hmm.
well, even if we say that this is alien tech, I'm sure you've probably come across a number of these materialists and skeptics who,
Hmm.
well, it could just be a secret government, a human thing rather than extraterrestrial
Not
or
even.
aliens. What would you say to
Not.
them?
Not even that. I mean, this video where I'm at right now, it's about 1 minute 34 seconds or something. It's difficult to tell where. It's difficult. YouTube doesn't really let me know where I'm at in this video. Could be 1 minute. Yeah, it looks like 1 minute and 13 seconds. You could see it on the. If you go to YouTube right now and see my screen through that, then that's something that that is relatively easy to reproduce, and it looks fake, and and there is clear interest to create these fake videos. You get overnight views, which are, everybody wants to have his 15 minutes of 15 seconds of fame, so it's pretty easy to get that way. So, and it makes sense to do it. It's actually financially lucrative to do it. Maybe he'll get, he could sell the original video. He could, yeah, whatever. I mean, so I find it difficult to just believe such a video, and all the videos. Anyway, each one of the videos I've seen can be explained away one way or the other, or they don't even warrant an explanation because they're so clearly just not evident.
Well, video is really not good evidence to begin with because videos can easily be faked. Anything can be faked. Like if you're gonna, like you talked about earlier, how there's like, from there was footage where there was more footage and then there was more footage. In that case, then it becomes more and more difficult to fake because you're talking about multiple cameras from
Yeah,
multiple camera
yeah,
angles, all
exactly.
capturing the same thing.
Yeah,
And so in that case, yes, that's one of the things that I would like to get established one of these days is just multiple live streaming cameras all over the place where, it captures the phenomenon from multiple different camera angles
yeah.
where people can even go back
Well,
and compare, the weather reports and the time and the location. That would definitely provide for much stronger evidence.
yeah. Dr. Loeb, actually, that's called the Galileo project program, whatever. He's got money for that. He said that he advertised it, and overnight he got millions of dollars, and they already have the equipment, and and they're moving forward. He's moving forward. He's gonna have surveillance, UFO surveillance, and stuff like that. So, but for now, all the videos that I've seen of supposed UFOs, I have to dismiss one after the other. So I haven't seen anything that is legitimate, except for Oumuamua, whatever Avi Loeb found. There's also another channel. It's called The Angry Astronaut, and he has a lot of videos where he discusses viable UFOs, actual UFOs, and actual signs of civilizations in the universe and actual signs of life in the universe. So he's relatively technical, the angry astronaut, even though lately he started going against Elon Musk more than he should. So anyway, my point is that like these videos, these videos, I don't find them convincing because they could easily be faked. Another problem with these videos, not only can they be faked and they could easily be misunderstood, they're also sometimes in violation of known physics. And violating known physics is basically just other words for that's impossible. If something violates the known laws of physics, then we need to find
Okay.
then we
Well, your statement
Mhm,
about,
mhm.
yeah, if it's impossible, then I actually have a counterpoint to that because
Mhm.
historically it was impossible for there to be heavier than air flying machines. It was historically impossible
No.
for continents to float. It was
Wait.
historically
So let's go.
impossible
No,
for
fine.
rocks to fall from the sky.
Okay, okay. Wait 1 second. So first of all, we knew that there's animals that can fly. So it's not that the claim, the Wright brothers themselves, very short before they took flight, they said it's going to take 1,000 years to fly. So fine. I mean, they could say that. I don't care what people say. We knew that birds can fly, insects can fly. So we couldn't care. So if like, so there's it's not a violation of the laws of physics to fly. So that's not. So I don't care what the Wright brothers said.
Okay, well, I was just pointing out the history of things that that were once considered impossible.
No, but
Now,
no, no,
well,
no,
but we're talking about,
no. But look, we have the laws of physics. The laws of physics. At this point, we're very certain of them, and we've seen absolutely no violation of the known laws of physics, including Newtonian and Einsteinian laws of physics. There's no, I mean, these are well established. So
yeah,
for,
yeah, you're talking about known laws of physics.
hmm exactly.
So these are known laws of physics.
hmm
Would cloaking technology be considered a valid part of known laws of physics or not?
No, that's I don't have a position on cloaking. And we know we have the F-22 and the B-2 bomber and the F-117. I mean, we know we have stealth, so soon we'll have full cloaking. I don't that's not I don't see that as a violation of any laws of physics. We have laws of physics. So I'll give you an example. So they said that the tic tac was accelerating without using a propellant, without exhaust. So that's impossible. You cannot do that. That's a violation of the law. I think that's a violation of the law of inertia. Yeah, I think it's a violation of the law of inertia. So something cannot move unless it's acted on by something else. Cannot accelerate. So basically, you're telling me
Well, that's based on propulsion technology, though. That's not based on
no
um.
propulsion. Okay, whatever. I mean, the claim was that it's accelerating without a propellant. It's accelerating without exhaust. So that's a violation of the law of inertia. Isn't that like the first law, Newton's first law of motion, the law of inertia? Or a second law, whatever? It's a violation of the law of inertia. So you're saying things can somehow miraculously accelerate or decelerate. I mean, we've seen no evidence of this. So
It's not a miraculous thing. There's actually another guy on here who I have spoken with a couple of times, Lyserge from Canada, and he actually talks about what he has witnessed. And the thing is, there's a lot of things we can witness, and we believe that it's impossible because we don't have an explanation for it. There's no way. So how do you know that we're not just repeating history? Like back in the ancient civilization times, they certainly saw a bunch of things. They would describe it as certain things as magic. To them it was impossible, but today we can explain it as being due to technology.
Look, it's enough of a burden that you have to prove to me that you have evidence for UFO UAP. It's enough of a burden. That is an almost insurmountable burden. For you to say on top of that either psychic or violation of known physics, that's already, you're basically saying that's, for me, you're saying, in other words, what I just said is definitely wrong. As wrong can be. To violate the known laws of physics, to me, is impossible. So I don't have a problem with UFOs. I don't have a problem with UAPs. I don't have a problem with seeing a video of Oumuamua and alien tech and alien life and alien AI. I don't have a problem with any of these. I think we're gonna get some either live AI, dead bodies of aliens. Sooner or later, something is going to land here because the universe, the galaxy seems to be packed jammed with alien tech and alien garbage. So sooner or later, we're going to see a dead body, an alien dead body. So I don't have a problem with that. I'm all for it. It's just a matter of time. Probably not too long. It's probably already landed on Earth. We just need to find it. There's probably plenty of these on the moon. We just need to go search for it. But if you're
And what if we are?
Mhm.
What if this already has been done and has been searched for and has been seen, just not necessarily reported into the public?
Not likely. It's just not likely. Not likely, not
And why
reported.
would it not be likely?
What?
And why would it not be likely? Has there not been a history of book burning and censorship
No.
throughout human history?
No. Book burnings are
How
statistically
about censorship?
not of UFO. UFO, UAP, alien. There is as much censorship as you could have expected about Oumuamua. I agree that the elites, the scientific elites, they hate Oumuamua. They hate Avi Loeb. I mean, the guy at this point should become a social, a a social. What do you call when the science of society? Not a not social studies.
Oh, like a social outcast or a
Oh
heretic or
no,
one of
when
those
you
sorts of
study
derogatory terms?
no sociology. At this point, he should become a. Let me just get a text message. 1 second. Uh, yeah, I need to send somebody something. So, and I need to go get a drink. Um. So at this point, mm, so I agree that the elites hate Avi Loeb, and they've put him through hell. The last thing he expected was to become, like you say, like an outcast, like a social outcast, like a scientific outcast. They hate him. They hate Oumuamua. I've seen their videos. They hate him. They hate this theory. They hate Oumuamua. So you don't have to convince me. I hate the scientific elites more than anyone. Probably more than you. So I hate these people, but they're not censoring us. They're censoring us as far as global warming is concerned. They are censoring us. Uh, as far as the COOF, they were censoring us, now less. Yeah, they censor us, I agree, but they haven't started censoring alien discussion, so they probably will at one point. I mean, if the hold on, let me just get my messages. If if Dr. Loeb continues getting evidence, let me just say, okay, if he continues gathering evidence and gathering support, then they're just going to get more and more upset. And I understand them. He's taking their income away. He's destroying their reputation. He's showing their inadequacy, their unscientific behavior, and so on. So I can understand them. They're just Darwinistically trying to survive, and he's giving them a run for the money. Then that he's hurting their chances of survival. So anyway, so yeah, I agree that we will at one point probably will get censorship around alien stuff. But for now, there's very little, almost it's negligible. There's almost nothing. So I don't think so. I don't think it's censored. You see that there is this video on YouTube. You're showing me this video, and there's no. It's just the opposite. For now, it's getting extra hype and extra points. And even this video, I'm gonna put this video. It's probably gonna do extra well. I know the angry astronaut says that UFO when he discusses UFOs, these videos get boosts. These are
All right,
very.
all right, hold on.
Mhm.
In regards to censorship, right? So a video like that, that's obviously not going to be censored because it is easy to debunk. It is easy to replicate. You can fake it. There's no reason for them to need to censor something like that. However, there is a man by the name of Phil Schneider. Have you heard of him?
No, I don't. I don't watch any of these videos ever. I don't. I'm bored of the UFO topic personally. I know everything there is to know about Oumuamua, literally everything, including I personally spoke in email with Dr. Loeb. So I'm completely up to date on Oumuamua. I've offered to debate the top-notch scientists who oppose Avi Loeb on this topic. Obviously, no response. But I don't look into this topic in general. I explained. I explained myself. I mean, if your claim is psychic or
No, the main point I'm getting at is the censorship. It is very, very difficult to find any more interviews of any more speeches from Phil Schneider anymore.
okay, I don't know who he.
A lot of it's been deleted. It's censorship.
Okay. Uh, look, I listen to not only people like this guy you're quoting. What's his name? Philip Morris Schneider.
No, Phil Schneider.
Phil Schneider. So I listen to people like I watch The Angry Astronaut religiously, especially if he discusses UFOs. I listen to every video that comes out of Avi Loeb. So there's people that I listen to that do the news gathering themselves, and if anything comes up on the radar, they're gonna let me know because I'm busy doing my stuff. I don't research this topic. My line of research is actually at this point more social. What was the word I used before?
So sociology.
Sociology. At this point, I'm much more interested in sociology than anything else. I I'm interested in the mathematics of how societies collapse and stuff. So I don't care for UFOs until they tell me they found something on the moon. At this point, I think in our lifetimes, we can only expect to find remnants of UFOs on the moon more than anywhere else. On Earth.
Well, let me hold on.
Mhm.
You mentioned that you're actually not really interested in this topic. So if you're not really interested in this topic and you're asking for evidence, and yet, if references are provided and you don't know about it and you don't want to look into it, then how can you say that you are very, very well versed in this topic?
I'm probably the best debater on the topic, which is what you want. To be very well versed without the ability to defend or attack a position, that's useless. So the most important is to balance the information with the data analytics, with the science analysis, with the logical analysis, with the scrutiny. You have to balance just gathering evidence and knowing everything without doing the analysis. That's suboptimal compared to a good balance. So I can give you a good balance. I don't have all the data. Don't listen to everyone that says I saw a UFO. Like that's not me.
What about if they have high-level credentials, such as high-ranking military officials and personnel?
No, no, because
They're just making it up.
no, you don't have to make it
So,
up.
so,
No, I'm not even. No, you don't necessarily have to make it up. You could actually believe it.
well,
You could actually believe it.
why do you consider them to be invalid? Like, because there have been cases where they have made reports, and there's even radar evidence and records to corroborate, detecting something that they said that they saw at a particular place and
I
time.
heard, I heard there. I heard some of the interviews that Lex Friedman did. Some of the interviews on Joe Rogan. What else? And I also listened to Thunderfoot, his debunking of the Tic Tac, which I find very insightful. You can listen to Thunderfoot's debunking the Tic Tac. It's very good. He just says, "Look, it's ducks," and when you look at the video, it looks like ducks. These are just ducks or geese flying above water. I mean, it's pretty clear. When you know that's what you're looking at, it's obvious that that's what it is. So I don't know how they could misunderstand it.
Can you show me that?
Just
Can you show me the footage of
go.
that video
Just
then, where
you don't
the Tic Tacs were turned out to be
you
ducks?
you don't know Thunderfoot's channel?
I don't. Can you pull up that video for me and
No,
post it into the side
no,
chat?
no, no. Please don't. I don't want to do that. I don't want to review videos. I want to debate. So, but
No, I want
I'm
to see
looking.
these
I'm
ducks.
looking.
I
I'm
just want to
looking.
see these ducks.
I'm looking for you. But I'd rather not just look at the video now. But let me look at Thunderfoot. So here is Thunderfoot's channel for your enjoyment. He's a leftist in many things, but he's very insightful in some things. I don't know where the video of the Tic Tac would be. I don't know. Busted. Maybe it's this one. I don't know. It's from 3 years
I
ago.
got the channel,
Yeah,
so I can go ahead and just do
yeah,
a search for it on my own.
yeah, yeah. He does a good job.
So
Hmm.
So as for the debunking stuff,
Hmm.
one of the common claims that I've come across is that it's not, some sort of UFO or alien, but because of swamp gas or weather balloons or something like that. Uh, I mean, how credible would that claim be?
Look, I didn't look into. I don't have something in front of my eyes right now that I can tell you that is a hot weather balloon, a helium balloon. I don't have anything in front of me that, and I'm not an expert at debunking specific sightings. There's people who are expert debunkers of specific sightings, but I'm not one of those that says there are no UFOs. I'm actually an expert in alien civilizations. I can tell you exactly where they are and what they look like and their social structure. What's the word again? Social, not social. I have to write this down. Not social. What was the word?
Sociology.
Sociology. Jesus.
Are you looking?
Sociology. How do you spell sociology?
That's how you spell it.
Sociology.
No, no, no. Sociology. This is how it's spelled.
Show me. Oh, okay. Sociology. Good.
I just put it into the
Yeah, I
chat.
saw. Yeah. So next time I'll just look instead of asking you. So so I'm an expert in alien societies, alien sociology, alien politics, alien evolution, and so on. I'm honestly an expert. I think I have videos on it. If you want, you can look at my channel. If you're familiar with the Fermi's paradox, I explain it. I explain Fermi's paradox mathematically and empirically. Everything makes sense. So I'm the last thing I am is a UFO denier or an alien denier. I'm not. But all this.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
if
You would
you accept,
you will not deny aliens?
I will not deny aliens. Wait, AUS circle. Let's just answer this guy. Joe, you're asking me if I don't deny aliens?
No, I think you're trying to say you don't deny the existence of aliens. So you're not an alien denier in that way. Not in a way like you wouldn't deny them of abducting you or something.
Wait, denying
It
aliens?
was just I was just trying to make a joke. It's a
Oh,
joke.
okay. As a joke,
Trying to join the conversation with
it's
on
very
like a
good.
good note.
That's good. That's a
I've
good joke.
miserably failed. Thank you.
If the alien chick is hot, then she can abduct me. You know, I can be abducted by multiple hot alien chicks anytime they want. I'm all
Yeah.
ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
So
Anytime.
at that point, you would 110% be not an alien denier.
Definitely not, especially with the anal probing. I'm all for anal probe, being anally probed by an alien chick, a hot alien chick.
How big is this probe? How big is this
Oh,
probe?
I don't care. You know, it's up to her. It's up to the alien chicks. It's to us, whatever, anything they want. Yeah, definitely. So,
oh, certainly sounds fun, but we've also asked for evidence of these things as well.
evidence of what?
Yeah, we've. Well, I mean, you asked me for evidence of the UFOs, but you don't deny the existence of aliens. So it's fair that we ask about the evidence for the existence of these aliens.
Sure. The evidence for the existence of aliens, the best one, the best empirical one, I would say, is Oumuamua and Avi Loeb's recent crash site that I discovered. That's the best empirical, but we can prove the probability of
Uh, Do,
aliens. Go ahead.
do we know what they look like? Like, do we have any photos or maybe
No,
maybe human alien video gatherings for fun of it?
no, but I can tell you about their
Some say
social. What?
just look in the mirror. Sorry, I just wanted to start taking turns to talk so we can all talk.
That's good.
But
Uh,
I'll just
yeah,
I
I
gotta do
understand.
something in here.
Okay. I don't know if they look like us. I mean, it would be nice if they did, and they were mostly female, hot chicks. That'd be the best. But I think it's very unlikely. I think
So if we haven't seen them, then how do we know that they actually exist?
well, we can. I mean, it's like it's we
I
could
think
use.
we're the hot ones. Like we're the ones that look better than them because they designed us to look better than them.
No, no, they didn't design us. No, we evolved on this planet. Could be that they seeded this planet, but that's also unlikely. It looks like the universe is teeming with seeds.
Well, we do what they do. Like anytime there's a change in the world or anything big happening, we capitalize on those moments and we kind of guide those things to happen the way we'd like them so that we can get like something out of it. And I think that if they saw us evolving, they would want to take part in that somehow.
No. No, so I can explain to you very quickly because that's not the discussion, but I can tell you very quickly what alien civilizations look like. So, unfortunately, alien civilizations are all dystopias. That's the opposite of utopias. They are all 1984 like dystopias. They're all North Korea like dystopias. And that's why we see the great silence. We don't see aliens visiting us, and aliens are not taking over the galaxy and the universe because all the aliens are kept just like the people of North Korea are kept basically in a jail. So, and that's the explanation for Fermi's paradox. Why are we here and why the aliens are not here? Because all the aliens are kept in a jail, in a cosmic jail system, and every
Would it be possible for it actually to be the other way around, where the humans are in a jail and the aliens are the ones keeping the humans in a jail?
well, we humans are still not in a jail. Most of us are not in a North Korea type jail. The aliens are in worse than North Korea type jail countries, jail states. If you can imagine even something even worse than North Korea. North Korea is, it's being checked by the rest of the countries on the planet. But imagine a future where all the countries are North Korea style. So they're not even checking each other. Like each ruthless dictator doesn't care what the other ruthless dictators do. So each ruthless dictator does literally whatever they want. So it's like, so each dictator is like Homelander from The Boys. It's like all powerful being that does whatever that he wants with his people. Just abuses them to no end. So anyway, that's what all the alien civilizations mathematically must devolve into. So in the beginning, they're like us. They start maybe moving into other planets, into their solar system, into the galaxy, but simultaneously as they do that, they start devolving. As soon as the internet evolves, the big brother surveillance state starts evolving, and soon after that, each country one by one, they must mathematically devolve into into more and more ruthless North Koreas. And even
But
there,
what's this? But what are these mathematics based on, though?
this is based on game theory. It's based on what's the name of the paradox? The prisoner's dilemma. So it's based on the prisoner's dilemma. It's based on game theory. The administrator problem. What is it called? The representative problem. Anyway. It's based on game theory, which is a branch of mathematics. So if you assume it all starts with assuming rationality, which is also a branch of mathematics. The rationality assumption and rationality theory. So if you assume rationality I'll give you a quick example. So it makes sense for Kim Jong Un to abuse his people more and more, not less and less. Because if he gives them freedom, then he's taking a chance that they're going to abuse the freedom to hurt him. So he has no incentive to give them freedom. Actually, if he takes away freedoms, he is protecting himself, especially if he feels that he has done them a little bit of wrong. So if he feels that he has done them a little bit of wrong, then he is afraid of reprisal. He's afraid of revenge. So now he has an even stronger incentive to take away their freedoms. So that's just one argument.
Well,
Excuse me?
yeah, well, based on that example, that could pretty much be said about just about every leader all over the world as well.
Correct. So in the long run, that takes over. And in the long run, all civilizations, it's not even civilizations, it's all intelligent life. All intelligent life must evolve into rationality. And all rational creatures, AI or natural or artificial, must devolve into ruthless dictatorships. So in the long run, yes. In the short run, you have anomalies, you have quantum fluctuations, you have democracies, maybe long-term democracies, but in the long run, mathematics takes over, and you must have a devolution into North Korea style dictatorships.
Have there been any, actual studies that have been done on this, based on people with different ideologies? Because that sounds like a fear-based ideology, whereas if somebody has a more love-based ideology, I don't think it would devolve into a dictatorship society.
No, it's based on rationality. So love, I'm assuming rationality. That's how the analysis is conducted. If you assume rationality, so North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, I don't know what it means to love. He just wants to survive. Rationality just means that a person, an entity, be it AI or natural intelligence, just looks out for its own survival, its own self-optimization.
Okay, all right. Let me use a different set of vocabulary words that are not as ambiguous then. So that would be an authoritarian world viewpoint, versus a freedom permitting world viewpoint. And if a leader is a freedom permitting type of a leader, I don't think that it would devolve into an authoritarian dictatorship society.
It's the reverse. So in the long run, those those leaders that will not be ruthless dictators will simply not survive. It's just survival because of the instability in freedom. Freedom, the more freedom you give anyone, the more chances you're taking, even due to random fluctuations. You just might have a crazy person come and kill you. So you want to give everyone around you less and less and less freedom so that you're protected, even from random fluctuations. But certainly, once you've started down this path, now they want to attack you because they want you rationality. So each one wants to survive, and you're hurting their survival. You're hurting them, period. So now they want to come after
Okay,
you.
okay. Okay, let me ask another question then. We have these things called businesses and corporations, and some of them are even family owned and operated, and they can grow to be pretty big, and they do grant a fairly decent amount of freedom, but there's also a sense of trust in there too. If a system can be enacted, social system to where, people can show and demonstrate and prove that they're can be trusted and trustworthy, and a system that earns people's trust of the leader, then I don't see why people would want to have a reason in order to get rid of their benevolent leader.
Look, you can be nice.
Trust, probably.
Look, let me just answer. If you're nice, if you allow freedom, you're taking a chance that due to random fluctuations, like a crazy person might come and kill you. If the more freedom you give, the more chances you are taking on your survival. So
Okay,
It's
well, I
wild.
can also counterpoint. Yeah. Well, I'll finish first and I'll let Joe speak. So I can also counterpoint to that, to where the more freedoms that you take away from people, the more you piss them off even more, and the more reason you give them to want to assassinate you. Now go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was just thinking like we're given a lot of freedoms, right? But then sometimes we get freedoms taken away that we didn't even consider that could be a freedom, like some kind of power or influence could be claims to be part of somebody's freedom, and they want to know. Like a lot of time when other people capitalize on these things that other people forgot or doesn't want to put the effort into getting, then they would make a claim that like I'm not as free as that person over there, and actually that guy over there, he's actually controlling me, taking my freedoms away.
Okay, let me. I need to. Okay, so Arius Circle. Look, um, what did you say? Let's just keep it one on one, because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to answer. What did you say?
Okay, what I was saying, that while you say that providing freedom gives you a risk of having bad things done to you, what I'm saying is that taking away freedom increases your risk of pissing people off to where they're gonna want to do things to you because you're taking their freedoms away.
Right. So, well, look at North Korea. Kim Jong Un is already third generation leader. So that's a very stable government. That's a very stable, right? If you ever thought to do something with your life, if you could, as the grandfather, if you could live the entire life in luxury and die in luxury, knowing your son is continuing your path, and the son takes over, lives a life of luxury, and dies knowing the son will continue on that path, and the son lives a life of luxury, and so on. That's just that's, I would say that's optimal. So if you're rational, you would, any rational actor would prefer, in the long run, any rational actor would want to maximize, right? A rational actor wants to maximize their own well-being. So I think the Kim Jong lineage, each one of them has maximized their well-being. So it's optimal for them to try and be ruthless dictators. So I think in the long run,
Mm,
there's no escape. In the long run, the mathematics wins. And ration.
I'm not entirely sure if I necessarily agree with that assessment.
Mhm.
How do you know that Kim Jong Un is not, doesn't have people in the shadows who are basically pointing a gun at his head from behind the scenes and making him do things against his will?
I mean, he lives, everything I know about him, he lives a life of luxury, and he's free to do whatever he wants, and he's protected by his government, and they are all they're all brothers in crime. So it's like a crime family. So they're all protecting each other. It's very similar to the sociology of a family crime syndicate. I mean, the reason why.
Oh, of course,
Mhm.
these crime groups exist everywhere. There's a triad in China, Hong Kong. There's a yakuza in
No, no,
Japan.
no,
There's
no.
the
Listen. No, no, no.
mafia,
No, it's a family. So it's either.
and they are families.
Right. So, but it's right. They're all protecting each other. These people solved the prisoner's dilemma. So it's very difficult to fight against these crime families because they solve that they're not going to betray each other because they've already simulated the prisoner's dilemma since they were born. They know not to talk. They know not to talk to the government. They know that if they will talk to the government, they will die. They're not going to make it. They know that they're not going to survive witness protection. They know that even witness protection will not protect them. In the long run, these families win. And the Kim Jong lineage is basically such a family. And all the government around them, it's just a mob. So they're all in on it. And in the long run, that is the most stable and the strongest government. So I think in the long run, that's what you're going to get in the
Well,
universe.
stable and strong. So you consider North Korean government to be a very stable and a very strong government, then is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, they're very stable and very strong. They live the government, anyone related to the government lives basically a life of luxury. And you see they're actually becoming stronger and stronger economically, militarily. So yeah, they're very strong, and they live in luxury. They live in luxury. So yeah, so I think in the long run, that is the form of government that all governments must devolve into across the universe.
Well, in order for these luxuries to exist, they have to have been produced somehow from somewhere. Is it, are they leeching off of the general populace where like,
No,
the
no,
peons, the peasants, all the
no,
common people, or
no. You don't have to. You don't have to because you don't have to leech off anyone. The masses are starving. The purpose of the masses is just as hostages. The masses could be disposed of tomorrow morning. They're not needed for anything. The masses are just hostages. The reason the US doesn't go in, or the reason no one just attacks North Korea, is because the people are held hostage. Like in Gaza, the Hamas fires from schools and from hospitals, and they take hostages and they fire from behind the hostage. So it's very mathematically efficient to take hostages. So the best thing is to grow the hostages, and that's what North Korea does. They grow the hostages, so they're protected by the people. So if anyone wants to attack Kim Jong Un, he's gonna have to kill a lot of innocent North Koreans. And that's what Kim Jong Un is relying on. That he's basically protected by the people. He doesn't leech off the people. He doesn't take anything from the people
well, why are they starving then?
because to keep them from thinking how to take over. A person who's starving, who's busy collecting insects to eat, and who is full of vermin and whose stomach is full of parasites is a weak person in every respect. So such a person is very unlikely to attack the government. Such a person is very easy to manipulate. If such a person hears that you're disrespecting the government, he's going to run to the government and complain so that he might get just an extra portion of food because he's starving. So he could very
I'm
Mhm,
I'm honestly having a very difficult time trying to picture a whole entire country, even if we call it North Korea,
mhm.
full of all of the regular population eating, just like scrambling around looking and trying to eat only insects. I mean, that's typically something that, if somebody is, that's even worse than being homeless, actually, come to think of it.
Wait, all of China was like this during Mao Zedong and Cambodia and Vietnam and the Soviet Union. So I would say more than half the planet was like this until not too long ago. Even in your lifetime, I don't know how old you are. So millions of people in China, 1 billion people in China were starving until a couple of years ago when China stopped being communistic, when China started
Well,
taking capitalism.
Venezuela used to be a first world country, but back around circa 2015 or 14 or 16, they actually had a food shortage crisis problem, and it's been ongoing ever since then. By the way,
Right.
once first world country, and that's how it ended up.
Right. So that's another proof, mathematical proof, that all intelligence must devolve into North Korea style countries because of the asymmetry of how easy it is for democracies to take a misstep and become dictatorships, whereas dictatorships are very stable and it's very difficult to turn a dictatorship back into a democracy. So once a country
Okay, so all these starving places. So you said China was full of starving people, billions until a couple of years ago. So does that mean that China is no longer a dictatorship then?
No, China. Look, so I think that in the short run, you're going to get fluctuations and you are going to get democracies and dictatorships will evolve back into democracies. But in the long run, all democracies will devolve into ruthless dictatorships.
Well, even the founding fathers of America warned of that. There was a quote by some of them where they say democracy is basically just two wolves and a sheep deciding what to eat for dinner.
And it's not
And then
even
there's also another expression.
that's not mathematics. That's nice allegories, not mathematics. You have to show, like, if you have an asymmetry, if you can show that it's easy
Yeah.
for
Well, mathematically, it does devolve eventually into what is essentially a tyranny by the majority.
no,
Of course, there could be
no,
deceptive elements where,
no, I'm not talking about a tyranny. Tyranny of majority is still democracy. I'm talking about a ruthless dictatorship like North Korea. There's no democracy in North Korea. There's no elections. So I'm not even you. You're talking about heaven of democratic, democratic majority enforcing its will on the democratic minority. That's heaven compared to North Korea. What you're describing is the United States, the majority ruled by majority. That's heaven. That's probably you're not going to get better than that.
well, how about, all right, but I'm skeptical about whether it's really the rule by the majority because for all we know, maybe there's a dictatorship that's there was an expression about it's not who votes that counts, but it's who counts the votes that matters.
Right, but the voting in the United States is distributed. There's no one body that counts the votes. It's every local officials count the votes. So the U.S. is very distributed. It's a distributed system. Anyway, look, we can we can go back to unless you have more questions about this is what I call the solution. My solution to Fermi's paradox, that the aliens are trapped in jail type states, countries, devolved into ruthless, super ruthless dictatorships like you cannot imagine. And by the way, now technological process stops, scientific process stops, economic progression stops, all progression stops, even evolution stops.
I don't necessarily know about that. Well, I guess it does make sense. But it would be stopped intentionally though, like somebody would
Yes,
be preventing all of this progress.
of course, because why would a dictator want to experiment with new technology that might destabilize them? So a dictator doesn't want anything new because of the unknown that it brings about. So a dictator doesn't want unknowns. Unknowns might destabilize them. So a dictator would be.
Okay,
Mhm.
who is or who are the most powerful leaders in the world right now, and are they really the top dogs dictating what's going on in the
That's
world right
that's.
now?
I'm not even talking about that. I mean, I don't. I don't think that's relevant. I'm giving you a mathematical theory that explains Fermi's paradox, the Great Silence, because we do know that that the universe is awfully quiet, where mathematically it's very unlikely that it should be quiet. Mathematically, the aliens should be right here, right now. We should not be here. This planet should have been conquered by some alien civilization billions of years ago, and life on Earth should not have had a chance to start. So the fact that
And what makes you believe that this planet has not been conquered already
there's no
billions
evidence.
of years ago?
There's no evidence that the planet has been conquered. There's no evidence of visitations. I'm telling you, I'm the last person to object to evidence of visitations. There's been no visitations. As far as I know, there's nothing.
Okay, okay. Well, mathematically speaking, we are talking about a very, very huge, large space called the universe, with literally billions of these things called galaxies and solar systems. And we're also talking about a time span of 13.8 billion years,
Mhm.
possibly longer if the James Webb Telescope evidence takes into consideration how galaxies. There's apparently galaxies that exist that are twice the age of this universe, uh, where statistically speaking,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Humans being the only sentient beings ever to have popped out, and even then only over the last couple 100,000 years.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's not very mathematically sound.
Wait, what?
Mm.
What are you saying?
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that there's a whole bunch of possibilities, especially with as big as this universe is, and for all this time, no conquering to have been done. But you're assuming that conquering has to be visible, right? There's different forms of warfare.
No,
Some people are familiar with
no.
what is.
Listen,
No, no,
listen.
no. Warfare is not always visible. There's
No,
psychological warfare. There's economic warfare.
no, 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 no. Listen to Fermi's paradox. Fermi asked, "Where are they?" Meaning, they should be here. We should not be here. They should have been here instead of us. Why are we here? They should have conquered the galaxy billions of years ago, conquered the universe billions of years ago. Life on Earth should not have started even. They should have been here, and the planet should not have been hospitable to the evolution of new life. We should not be here. They should be here. The fact that we are here, that's Fermi's paradox.
Okay, what does Fermi base this paradox on?
Well, I don't know what he based it on, honestly, but I can base it on the fact that life on Earth is as old as Earth. Life on Earth started as soon as Earth became hospitable to life. So that means now that suggests that life waits for a planet to cool down to become hospitable to life in order for life to start. So every planet should start life. So the universe should be jam packed with planets, with living planets and civilizations from billions of years ago that should have already conquered the universe and should already be here, and we should not be here. That's Fermi's paradox.
Aren't these also in and themselves assumptions as to how things should be? Because there's a lot of things that people have thought throughout history that it should be some particular way, but once the scientific experiments were done, it turned out to be not what they thought it should be.
Look, life on Earth is as old as Earth. Life on Earth is as old as Earth's crust. So as soon as Earth's crust cooled down enough to host life, life came into existence. This suggests that life was waiting for Earth to cool down. It's not like life, whether it evolved here spontaneously or it was uh, pan- panspermia that seeded Earth. Either way, it seems like it's the nature of the fabric of reality that the universe is teeming with life. And civilizations don't take that long once you have life. Once a planet spawns life, a civilization comes within, let's say, 5 billion years, 10 billion years, but the universe is 15 billion years old. Now, you just need one civilization to start and conquer the universe. And there's no evidence of that and they should already have been here. We should not be here. They should have come here, colonized Earth, and not allowed life to start here because they would have been here.
Well, hold on. Every time that you say that there's no evidence of this and no evidence of that, um, earlier you yourself specifically said that you don't look into these things. You don't uh, hear it out. So if you're not digging up turning up every stone and pebble and so forth, how can you so confidently say that there's no evidence whatsoever?
I haven't seen any evidence. I told you that I have people that I listen to who are my news gatherers. I listen to them,
And
and I have I in my YouTube feed and in my iPhone feed and in my all my news feeds, things jump up all the time, but I usually ignore it unless the angry astronaut covers it or somebody that does the hard work for me covers it, and then I look into it. I didn't even when Elon Musk switched from carbon fiber to steel in his Starship. I was ignoring that because I didn't believe it. It seemed unreal, but it kept popping up. The angry astronaut was covering it. People that I was following kept covering it until I started looking into it. And I was late to the party. I was probably a month after Elon when they were already testing Hoppy. That's when I came in. I came in maybe a week or two before Hoppy was tested. So yeah, sometimes I'm late to the party, but I have my news gatherers that do the footwork, and they look at everything. They turn every stone, and if they find something, then it will bubble up to me, and I'll take a look at it. Avi Loeb is one of my news gatherers. I listen to him religiously. Any news related to him, I religiously read. So I don't want to spend all my time reviewing every testimony from everyone about a sighting. I need to work, and I need to record videos, and I need to debate people, and I need to study my things, and I'm more interested. I already have my conclusions. The point is, the aliens should not be visiting us. That's not Fermi's paradox. The aliens should be here instead of us. Aliens visiting us does not change Fermi's paradox. Fermi's paradox is, why are we here? Maybe that's my paradox. Let's raise Fermi's paradox 1 degree and call it Mr. Slave's Fermi's paradox. So the question should be, why are we here? Even if aliens come and visit us tomorrow, I'm still going to ask them, why are you here? Why am I here? I should not be here. The aliens should have been here. You visiting me does not violate Fermi's paradox, or my version of Fermi's paradox. So I have a stronger version.
what if
Mhm.
what if there's this plot twist that a number of us are the aliens, maybe not necessarily know that we are, or perhaps there's possible hybrid aliens who look like people and humans who walk amongst us, basically.
No, we have fossil evidence. It's clear that we evolved on this planet from single cells. The question is, where did the single cells come from? Is it panspermia, or did the single cells evolve here? My intuition is there's not enough time for single cells to evolve on this planet, because as soon as it cooled, the first cells showed up. It sounds like panspermia to me. So you could argue that the universe has been seeded maybe by aliens, or maybe it's just the nature of the beast that single cells or some seed is floating in the ether, in the void, just everywhere, basically. So, but there is no evidence that aliens are involved in our evolution. Unless you say panspermia is by design of some UFO, some alien. That's possible, but yeah, I don't mind. I have no evidence to that. I mean, like you'd expect the first cells to have some artificial signature if the first cells did not evolve naturally, but rather a UFO planted them or maybe designed them, then we would see a signature in the early life DNA or RNA. But there's no signature. No one came up with any signature in the early, and we should have that signature along. We are just the children of those first early life forms. So our DNA is just, we inherit our DNA from their DNA. So we should carry the alien signature in us. As far as I know, there's no alien, there's no mathematical signature in our DNA or in our RNA. So you could say, okay, so maybe we weren't designed by aliens, but we were spread by aliens. Fine, I don't mind.
Let me add a couple of words into this dialogue here. There's a term that a lot of them like to use called junk DNA, and then there's this other term called epigenetics.
Yeah.
So how do we know that this junk DNA is really actually junk? Maybe it actually serves a purpose. Maybe it's evidence of the alien history.
It looks random. Look, I don't mind if aliens designed us in a lab. It doesn't. There's no evidence that aliens designed our life, the life from which we evolved, in a lab. There's just no evidence for that. I don't mind if it happened. I don't.
Well, materialist atheists and debunkers always say that there's no evidence for a whole bunch of things all the time. There's no evidence. There's no evidence. So I mean, we could also say that there's no evidence for us even being conscious. There's no evidence that we're even having a real interaction here.
Look,
I mean, there comes a point where it gets at the point where it's pseudo skepticism as opposed to genuine agnostic skepticism.
Look, I don't mind. I haven't seen evidence. Look, if aliens designed us in a lab, I'd expect them to put a signature in the DNA. I think that's what I would do. Instead of in all the junk DNA, put a signature. Put the.
And what makes you believe that they think exactly the same way that you would think?
Look, so I that's what I'm saying. I have no evidence. I'm not objecting. I just have no evidence. I'm not saying it. I'm not judging. I don't mind, but there's just no evidence. I'm neutral. No, I'm not neutral. As long as I have no evidence, I have to deny your theory.
No, you're committed to the belief that there is no evidence. So that is a committed position.
What do you mean committed? Well, I don't know what that means. What do
That
you mean
is,
committed?
basically you believe that no evidence exists. That's a belief.
Okay, you can call it a belief. I have not seen evidence. You want to say that I believe I have not seen evidence? I don't know. That's just, I haven't seen evidence with extra steps.
Okay, you can say that you have not personally come across any evidence for yourself that you accept as valid evidence.
Of course. I don't know if you experienced evidence, but as far as I'm concerned, I have not seen evidence that aliens designed our DNA. I haven't seen evidence.
Okay. Well, and I, mentioned the Farsight Institute, and it's one of these things that it's really far better for you to just, take a look at their work for yourself.
No.
Rather than me trying to describe it.
No, in a debate, you have to present. No, a debate is when you have the chance to display your evidence. So you can make your case right now. That's the time. You don't tell me to go read books. You tell me. You prove to me your case. Prove your case. Make your case. Now is the time.
And but the thing is, okay, it can be demonstrated and shown with credibility. However, it is not something that you do in only a second or two. Now, if you're talking about debate right then and there and now, and if you want something quick, Okay, I prefer to use a scientific method. That's this quick thing, a debate. All that does is shows your ability to to basically um you know object to what another person is saying. And I got plenty of I've we both demonstrated our ability to object to what each other has said, right?
No, no,
So,
it's not.
but if it's about objecting
No, no,
these claims,
no. A debate
but
is your chance to convince me of your belief. It's my chance to convince you of my belief. It's a chance to talk, convince each other, make a dent in each other's feelings and beliefs. That's a debate. That's why we're here. We're here to convince each other. I'm not here to object. My time is
well, you have to be open to hearing the evidence. Otherwise, that's not,
present.
really being
Present.
open-minded.
Present your evidence. You told me to read. I said no. Present your evidence now. Now present your evidence. If you don't present evidence, I'm not going to go read anything. Probably. It's very
See, well, as far as okay, and I can interpret that as you don't want to learn.
yeah, but that's nothing to do with the debate. You can that's ad hominem at best. That's not the proposition is about aliens, UFOs, and stuff like that. Not if
Listen, listen, I've encountered a lot of these materialists and skeptics and debunkers before, and there is plenty. There's a term called pseudo skepticism. This was a term coined by a man by the name of Marcello Truzzi, who was one of the founders of PsyCop back when it was known as PsyCop, currently known as CSI. And then Dr. Dean Radin also has uh, a section in his book on in one of his, or probably more than one of his books, about the skeptics. They keep on asking for evidence, and then the parapsychologists they do these experiments that do end up providing the evidence, and even the skeptics themselves do these experiments and also get positive results, but end up doing this file drawer effect thing. And so it's like it's gotten to the point where the skeptics have conceded that yes, there are people who wear these things called uniforms. Yes, they carry these things called bats. Yes, they have uh, this thing called a ball around a field shaped in a diamond. But after a couple hundred years of all of this, looking and gathering, uh, of asking for evidence, no evidence has ever been provided that there is such a thing as a baseball team. So that's basically how Dr. Dean Radin describes this pseudo skeptical behavior.
look. The proposition is: are UFO/UAPs levitation crafts real? So if you want to present evidence, I'm willing to discuss the evidence one by one. Uh,
Okay, well, I'm going to say that I believe that they are real, and that's going to be based on remote viewing data.
so present.
You don't have to believe it if you don't want to,
No,
and you
it's
don't
not.
have to look
There's
into it
no
if you
such
don't want.
thing as one. There's no such thing as wanting to believe. I don't even know what that means. Present your evidence. Let's review your evidence piece by piece. What's your evidence?
Again, like I said, I reviewed the remote viewing data that was provided by the Farsight Institute. It's their evidence. I believe in their evidence because they present it in a credible manner.
Can you
It's not
can
my
you
evidence.
present
I'm
it?
pointing out their evidence, and that's why I accept it.
Fine. But honestly, look, if you want to change my mind, you have to present evidence. Present evidence, and let's talk about it. Let's review it. Let's analyze it. But if you don't present evidence, then we're I have nothing. How can you change my mind? I cannot. I'm trying to help you.
Well, I'm already of the conclusion that you don't want to change your mind to begin with.
That has nothing to do with the proposition. The proposition is, are UFOs real? In order for us to answer this question, we need to analyze evidence. I told you UFOs like Oumuamua, yeah, it's real. The crash site from Avi Loeb that he went to the ocean and gathered samples, yeah, that's real.
Okay, and if
Angry Astronaut has plenty of good evidence for alien life. plenty of actual good evidence, many of them, too many for me to just offhand review.
Well, what makes it good evidence if we don't have any photos or videos of these alleged aliens?
We have videos of Oumuamua.
So actual alien beings themselves. I mean, have they talked, interacted? Like on camera, video,
We have the
like photos of them.
we
Like, can we
have
see what they look like?
we have the WoW signal. That seems like it could be aliens, and we have alien.
Okay, it
Mhm.
could be,
Yeah, could.
but it's not proving that these are really actual
No,
aliens because we haven't actually seen them for ourselves.
no, that's not evident. No, I don't care about seeing aliens. That would be nice, but I don't have to see aliens in order to. We're talking about UFOs, UAPs, and levitation crafts. We're not talking about living aliens. I don't expect living aliens to arrive alive on Earth. I think even for them, it doesn't make any sense unless, an Orion. No, what do you call Jeff Bezos's teacher, astronomy teacher? It's not an Orion. What do you call at the end? I don't know these things. Like a huge rotating city, huge rotating space station. Not Orion. Something. The word is like Orion.
Well, the Orion is a star system, and they're also apparently said to be some sort of alien species as well.
That's right. Jeff Bezos teacher. I don't see it. So in the movie, what was the movie with the black hole? Gargantua, Gargantua. You remember the black hole movie?
I don't really watch movies.
Okay. Movie with black hole Gargantua or something. It's a supermassive black hole. Christopher Nolan. What's the name of the movie? Interstellar. So in Interstellar, at the end of Interstellar, there was a huge space station. So space colony, end of movie, Interstellar.
Okay, I do know about the existence of movies about aliens, like, uh, I mean, there was a few of them that came out. So Interstellar, um,
No, no, no.
the
There's
Close
a
Encounters
specific.
of the
No,
Third
no,
Kind.
no, no, no. There is a specific type of space station at the end of Interstellar. It has a name.
Okay,
The name is the T.
are you saying that this is some sort of evidence for the aliens and this platform out in space?
No, no, but that is something we might expect. If you want to see living aliens, they would have to be in a multi-generational colony ship of that type. So I just need the name of of the space station. The type is named after Jeff Bezos' teacher. Jeff Bezos was studying astrophysics. He started Amazon. So while studying astrophysics, he had a teacher, and that teacher came up with a plan for a space station, a rotating space station. So that's what we should expect to see evidence of, if anything, of if you want to see living aliens. They can't survive a single alien or a small ship I don't see it surviving. You got to travel for a very long time. I don't see that alone. That doesn't make any sense. You need a big ship. You need to walk around. You need to interact with other aliens. So it's got to be, let me see, rotating space station. It's huge. It has more people in it than there's people on Earth by orders of magnitude. Like trillions of people live in it.
That's from the movie, though.
No, that's from Jeff Bezos' teacher. The movie has real physics in it. That space station is real physics. It's not fictional. It has artificial
Okay.
gravity.
So Jeff Bezos' teacher said this, so we should believe him. For what reason? Do we need to
No,
believe that
he
guy?
came up with the plans. The space station is a simple space station. We can build it today. There it is. O'Neill cylinder. Okay. Wow. I thought I was losing my mind. It's called an O'Neill cylinder.
Okay.
So if we'll ever see living aliens, they're probably going to be in an O'Neill cylinder that's going to pass by the solar system. Very unlikely, because I expect any aliens to run away from their home planet, and they would go vertical off the galactic plane, and they wouldn't pass by us. They would go straight up or down vertical to the galactic plane. So it's very unlikely, but they could pass through us as they're going vertical through the galactic plane. So they might be above us or beneath us in the galactic plane. And then they might pass near us. But even then, they're going to be dark. They're not going to have their lights on. It's going to look like an asteroid. It's going to be in interstellar space. It's going to be very difficult to see, and they're not going to be interested in talking to us because of the solution to Fermi's paradox. They're going to be afraid of being captured and swallowed into our military prisons type dystopias. They don't want to have
Okay.
anything.
Well, how? Yeah. Well, another point about I guess my I want to probe a bit further into this Fermi's paradox thing. Does it take into account, because most people would not be so cool with allowing a dictatorship to take over them, and in fact, in order to convince people in order to do things that would otherwise normally be against their will, there's a couple of things. One, as an example, would be from the Stanley Milgram shock experiments, where they're presented with a perceived authority in order to do things that they would otherwise not normally do under their um, because of morals and ethics. And then this other thing is, what about all of the secrecy? There's a lot of things that are done in secret behind the public. As we know, it should not be controversial to say that the internet existed for at least 20 years. And a number of other technologies until 20 years later that they were released to the public. So there's certainly a lot of secrecy going on. How do we know that the evidence isn't just being kept behind? Evidence for a lot of things isn't being kept behind these secrets.
Wait, so you're saying that you want to look into my solution to Fermi's paradox, and you're saying that what?
Well, I want to probe a bit further into Fermi's paradox, and because it's in order for it to happen, either people have to be, I think people would either need to be kind of brainwashed in a sense. George Orwell's 1984, where it's like the social engineering. I'm sure we have all heard the
Well,
term
all
social
you need
engineering by
look,
now.
all you need to do is look at North Korea and also realize China was like this until just a couple of years ago, and all the Soviet bloc countries were like this before that, and Cambodia and Vietnam So there's plenty of examples. Like half the planet was devolved into that temporarily in the past 100 or 50 years, approximately 50 years. So we have evidence. We have temporary evidence of this. The next time it will happen, it might stick for longer. And in the long run, it's going to stick forever. So the planet will devolve into these dystopias. So it doesn't matter
That's a
what
pretty grim worldview.
universe view. That's the solution to Fermi's paradox. This will happen. This happened to every alien.
Paradigm.
It's worse than a paradigm. This is a law of nature. Every intelligence must devolve, even artificial. Even imagine an artificial intelligence based civilization. They too will devolve into North Korea. There's no escape. If you're rational, and you have to be rational to survive. So if you survive Darwinism, so you're basically, rational, then there's no escape. The prisoner's dilemma and the agency, what's it called? The agency paradox. I mean, these are going to come back with a vengeance, and there's no escape. It's mathematics. Game theory is a mathematical theory. You can't ignore it. You might as well ignore math. You can't ignore math. Try as you might, can't ignore it. So let me. Oh, we have.
Well, that's also assuming that the rules are set. Like in a game of chess, obviously, they have to follow these strict particular rules. But when it comes to sociology and human behavior, or let me say sentient behaviors between sentient beings among sentient beings, there's a lot more variables that are involved that could change things either way. As we were talking about earlier, you were saying that it's going to devolve because they have to take away freedoms. But then I countered that point by saying, well, that also causes a problem because by taking away freedoms, you're giving them more reason in order to revolt.
Look, the people of North Korea have plenty of reasons to revolt. So that gives the emperor of North Korea just more of a reason to repress them. The more reason they have to revolt, the more reason he has to abuse them. That's how you get North Korea. North Korea is a mathematical solution to rationality. The rationality devolves into North Korea. It devolved with North Korea.
Okay, there's two expressions I want to add in here real quick. There's an expression that says history repeats itself, and there's another expression that says those who do not learn their history are doomed to repeat.
Yeah, but these are not mathematical inevitabilities. North Korea is a mathematical inevitability.
There had to have been, but there had to have been an event or like some circumstances that set it in motion, though. So what if we go back in history of North Korea? Like if we go all the way far back, like where would it have started? Do you have any idea how it would have all started
Hold on.
and why?
First of all, let me just say hello to Jelk Nicholson and Birdnest Rat Fest. They keep talking in the chat, so I need to say hi. Anyway, look, this is not necessarily North Korea is just a recent example. You could see that Venezuela is devolving into that. You saw that China devolved, Vietnam, Cambodia, the Soviet Union. So we have plenty of examples. North Korea is a more persistent, I would say, temporary example. I don't know how long North Korea is going to survive, but in the long run, mathematically, the most stable solution is a North Korea type dystopia. It's just the most stable solution. So in the long run, it has to win. In the long run, you might get fluctuations. You might get periods where the aliens will come out of their dark ages or 1984 type dystopian dark age. You could have a fluctuation. It could happen. but it's temporary. In the long run, it's a dead end.
All right. Well, here's another thing that I've considered for a long time, and this is one of the reasons why I want to try to push to get disclosure, to try to force disclosure. I guess we would call it catastrophic disclosure. And one of my motivations for it is because anybody who's not living under some sort of a rock should be aware of and can recognize by now that there are people in existence whose faces we never see, names we never hear, yet they make decisions behind closed doors that continue to negatively affect all of us. And if we talk about Fermi's paradox and mathematical probabilities speaking, there's a very good high mathematical probability that these very people are the real dictators who are planning on controlling this whole entire world. And the only way to force them out of the shadows, get them out of hiding, is to blow the lid off of all of the secrecy so that there's no more, hiding behind so-called national security, hiding behind Mr. Intellectual Property Rights, hiding behind all of the, that's just a conspiracy theory sort of excuses. Just, let's just find out what's going on behind the closed doors, behind the curtain.
I've seen no evidence that there is anyone behind any curtain. As far as I know, there's no one behind Joe Biden. There's no one behind Kim Jong-un. There's no one behind Xi Jinping. There's no one behind Putin. So as far as I know, there's
So you've never so you've never seen or encountered anybody pointing out when they say Joe Biden looks like he's reading from a teleprompter.
Joe Biden reads from teleprompter. What do you mean? So somebody writes his speeches. So that's
So who are these people and why do they have them say these things?
We know who these people are. These are speech writers. We know Reagan had a speechwriter. Nixon had speechwriter. We know who these people are. They're famous in of themselves. No one is. Joe Biden doesn't care that we know that somebody wrote his speech. Trump also probably has somebody write his speeches. He doesn't follow always every word of the speech. Donald Trump goes off sometimes, a lot of times, but he.
Okay. Well, let me ask another question then. Okay, where we are, since we're on the topic of UFOs, aliens, etc. Most people have probably heard of Dr. Stephen Greer by now. He's also mentioned some of these things that I'm about to mention, where there have been, even U.S. presidents themselves actually have tried to look into the archives and records and information about related to UFOs, UAPs, and so forth. Yet they were both warned off as well as even threatened. So they're obviously, based on that, they can't really be the top decision makers.
So who what? So okay, okay, go on. So give me the name of a president. Tell me who threatened them and why.
The Clintons were themselves have been threatened. The Clintons themselves were threatened.
So Clinton, what's his name? Bill. So Bill Clinton was threatened by.
There's Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. I think Hillary Clinton talked about it.
Hold on. So Bill Clinton was threatened by who? Whom?
Well, we don't know who the names of these people are. They're
Bill,
just, they're like these men in black suits.
How do you know? Okay, what's your evidence? Bill Clinton was threatened.
This is based on induction. Okay, this is based on induction.
So
not
wait,
deduction.
You have no.
Deduction is when.
What's your evidence? Yeah, evidence is induction. What's your evidence? I'm not saying
it's based on induction.
Mathematical.
It's based on induction.
Mathematical proof is deduction. Evidence, empirics is deduction, is induction. So of course we're talking about induction. We're talking about reality. So what's your evidence?
No. Empiric is deduction.
No, empiric.
Induction is when you're collecting pieces of the puzzle and making an inference.
What's your evidence? What's your evidence? Anyone threatened Bill Clinton?
All right, Dr. Stephen Greer himself, mentioned that they were threatened.
What's the evidence that Bill Clinton was threatened?
I told you, Dr. Stephen Greer made mention of that.
Show me the evidence. What's the evidence? Did Bill Clinton file a police report against this threat?
No.
The guy who's surrounded by the strongest. The FBI,
so you don't accept
CIA, the military, this guy, somebody walked up to him and tell him, you better do what I say. And this guy survived? What are you talking? I can't imagine this. Who threatened Bill Clinton? Answer the question. Who threatened Bill Clinton?
That's the thing. We don't know exactly who these people are because they
What's your,
hide
well, okay,
behind secrecy.
so wait,
You
yeah,
know,
this look.
the security,
Okay, let
the
me ask you this.
security
Let
clearance
me ask you this.
excuses.
Let me. Does Bill Clinton know that he was threatened?
Of course they know.
Okay, so Bill.
Do you want to talk to him personally or something?
Okay, can okay. So how do you know Bill Clinton knows that he was threatened?
It's based on history, right? History repeats
Just answer
itself.
the
There's always going to
question.
be.
How do you know?
I did answer the question.
No, you're not.
I answered.
What's
I
your evidence?
know it
Present
because
your
history repeats itself, and
present.
mathematically speaking,
No,
history is going
stop.
to repeat itself.
What's your evidence that Bill Clinton knows that he was threatened? What's your evidence? Show me the evidence.
Okay, I'm going to change it to say I believe that he knows. All right, I'm just going to change it to
Based on
that, so
what?
that way you don't have to
Based
ask me for the.
based on what? Of course, I'm going to ask.
I already told you it is
Based
based.
on what?
I
You
already told you
believe
the answer.
based on what?
I already told you the answer. It's based on a combination of the repeated, how history repeats itself. People have been threatened throughout history from behind the
Okay,
scenes.
so you
Dr.
don't. Okay,
Stephen
okay.
Greer himself
Stop,
has also made
stop,
mention
stop,
about how they've
stop,
been warned off.
stop, stop. Hold on. You're talking. I didn't hear the beginning of the sentence. Okay, so you agree you have no evidence that Bill Clinton was threatened. You have no evidence Bill Clinton knows he was threatened.
All right, we'll go with that. There's no evidence for it. All right. Okay, let's just go with that. There's no evidence, so there's no evidence for anything ever existing ever. Let's just go with that. There's no evidence for human behavior being deceptive. There's no evidence for anybody being a dictator. Let's just go with that. How about that?
No, no, no. Let's just go with the fact that you have no evidence anyone ever threatened Bill Clinton. Let's just go with that. That which we have no evidence for, let's go with that. You've presented no evidence that any
Okay, well, you want to insist that there's no evidence for that, then fine. Okay, we'll insist that there's no evidence for it. But you can't say that such things do not ever happen to anybody.
I
And
have
you
no
cannot say that
evidence.
such things do not ever
I have
happen to
no
world leaders.
look, I have no evidence that any American president was threatened by anyone. You could say Trump was threatened by.
Oh, really? So bad things don't ever happen to U.S. presidents. What happened to JFK,
We don't know. I honestly don't know.
John F. Kennedy?
Did they publish?
We don't know what happened to John
Did
F. Kennedy.
did
This
they
is one of the
publish?
most famous
Did
presidents in history.
stop talking to yourself? Why do you do that? You go on a long sentence. I didn't hear the beginning. You continue talking. I asked you to stop. You don't stop. What's the point? You talking to me or you talking to yourself?
Listen, the vast majority of this live stream has been mostly you speaking.
I don't. I want to hear you.
And multiple times you've interrupted me as well. Multiple times.
I want to hear you. If you talk while I'm talking, I didn't hear the beginning. Now you continue talking. I didn't hear the beginning. I have no idea what you're saying. I asked you to stop. You don't stop. You continue talking. I don't know what you're saying because I didn't hear the beginning because you started talking while I was talking. So what's the point? Stop and start over. I don't know what you're saying.
All right, well, let's keep it simple. Okay, how about we set up some rules first? Okay,
No,
we're allowed
stop,
well,
stop.
two sentences.
Stop. No. Just if I talk while you talk, then I ask you to stop. You stop. Then I ask you to start over. You start over. That's it. No rules. I'm not here for rules. I want to know what you're saying. So stop. Start over so I can know what you're talking about. Okay. What do you know about JFK? Why was he? Who murdered him? Why did they do it? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Do you know? Tell me.
Do I know? No, I'm not going to claim that I know because
So
you're
as
just
far
going
as
to
I
say that there's no
what
evidence
I
for
know,
it.
I'll tell you what I know. So his murderer, the first one, was a communist that went to live in Russia and Soviet Union, came back, was a Looney Tune, leftist, Marxist. That's it. And he murdered also a police officer. The day after or 2 days after he murdered the president, he was walking around free. A police officer saw him, said, "Hey, come over here." He shot and killed that police officer. He's a cold-blooded murderer. He's just a murderer. Now, the second guy that came and killed him, I don't know what's his story. I don't know who that is. Ruby, I don't remember the names. But it looks like a communist killed a US president. I think all US presidents that were assassinated by lefties. There's no exception. The left doesn't like that, so they invented stories on stories on stories, lies on lies on lies. It's just another leftist murdering just another freedom loving American president. That's it. It's not complicated. That's as much as I know. It's just another leftist communist Looney Tune assassinating politicians because that's what leftists know how to do best. That's it. Not more complicated than that. No one is running the universe. It's just leftists at the end up taking over the universe. And in the process, that's the solution to Fermi's paradox. Because leftists destroy democracies and help bring about dictatorships. That is leftism. Leftism at the end is just they always devolve into dictatorships. They're always lunatics. They're always mentally imbalanced. They're always antisocial, and that's the solution to Fermi's paradox. The dictators, they know to butcher everyone, so the lunatics don't bother the dictators. But in a democracy, democracies don't defend themselves against these leftists. So the leftists end up assassinating the presidents. And that's part of the solution because of the imbalance, because of the asymmetry between left and right. Leftists, by their very nature, assassinate presidents, and right-wingers, by their very nature, don't. So you have just more asymmetries that bring about the solution to Fermi's paradox, North Korea dystopia. That's what I know about JFK.
Okay, well, what's the sources of your information? Like, are there documents related to back this up? And then why do you accept that rather than the official narrative of this Lee Harvey Oswald guy being some lone assassin?
He is a lone assassin. He was a communist. He moved to the Soviet Union. Then he came back. He went to the Soviet Union. Everybody knows this. You can look it up on Wikipedia. He went to the Soviet Union. He married a Russian girl. It didn't work out with her because he was a lunatic, because he's a leftist. You know leftists. Leftists are Looney Tunes. There's nothing new. You know leftists are crazy. They're the mentally unstable people. So of course he went to the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union wasn't good for him either. So they kicked him out. And he came back to the United States and he murdered our president. Because that's the nature of the left. That's the nature of the left. That's why the left devolved into these North Korean dystopias. That's the nature. That's the mathematical tendency of the fabric of reality.
Okay, so all of these dictatorships all around the world, every single one of them are leftist by the sounds of this. Also, I don't know if you have heard about this, but I have heard that the Democratic Party was actually started by the KKK.
Yeah, makes sense. There's nothing new about that. Look, I don't know. The left, no, it was the reverse. The left, the KKK was actually, yeah. Look, I don't want to get off topic. Look, I think, I think we've spoken here for 2 hours. I've given you everything I have. You have it all recorded. You can go back and listen to it. Everybody can. I think we had a good conversation. I enjoyed it. I got to tell you a lot of stuff, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you're convinced or not. I'm happy I had a chance to tell you and tell the world. So I have to thank you for.
All right. Well, Yeah, and I'm certainly glad that we've gotten, that we had a chance to go over Avi Loeb's information as well, because
Sure.
that is something that I do want to look further into.
Yes, of course. Yeah, man. Okay, I think I sent you a friend request. Let me make sure.
Oh yeah, I think that was sent earlier, much earlier. So yeah, I
Yeah,
see it on there.
okay. Oh, yeah, I see you. I see you. Let me wave and say hi. All right, man. I'm gonna get back to work. I still have to do work. All right, man. I'll see you around.
All right, then I guess we'll talk some other time,
Yeah, yeah,
perhaps.
yeah. Gladly. Bye.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Bye bye. All right. There you go. Thank you very much. Uh, J. Jilk. Good evening, Mr. Slave. And a bird says 1986. Let's just review everything you said, Mr. Nelk. So, Mr. Bird. So, knowledge suppression to aid consumerism, capitalism, killing Earth. I think it's the opposite. I'm pro consumerism and capitalism. I have Philip Schneider in my videos, a short clip. Yeah, I I don't think I would like Mr. Philip Schneider. All creation limited by time, not the creator. I don't believe there's a creator. This creation glorifies the creator. That is your primary directive, and that is how to know if you're malfunctioning. No, no. I don't believe in a creator. Even if there was a creator, I don't care. If the creator wants to come to talk to me, I'll gladly. Otherwise, I don't care. Too much credible evidence from official government agency, police, military pilots, professionals who would want to lose their jobs over a sighting. I don't think there's any credible evidence from any official government agency, police, military, pilots. Everything has been thoroughly debunked. So, Jake, good evening, Mr. Slave. Good evening, Mr. Jailk. Bird says 1996 had mass sightings globally. All right. I don't think any of them. I didn't see anything interesting from my entire history. I looked at everything and nothing seems like a sighting. So Bird says, didn't Kennedy get a threat in Dallas? Maybe he did. So yeah, but that's not from someone who runs the world. The assassin was just a loony leftist communist, worthless piece of garbage, like all leftist communists are. That's it. So yeah, does the left run the world? Well, that's my solution to Fermi's paradox. Mathematically, the left at the end must win because of the asymmetry between the left and the right. The left doesn't play by any rules, and the right plays by the rules. So, of course, in the long run, the left must win. Bert says, you have to visit Israel to become a US president like Obama, Trump. That is complete. I don't know if it's complete nonsense. I mean, people who support Israel. I support Israel because Israel is a capitalistic country, relatively. It's a friend of the United States. I love the United States. So in general, I support Israel more or less. Not, it's not a perfect country. So if there is a president who is anti-Israel, I would most likely not like them. So, I mean, but I don't think Obama was pro-Israel. I think Obama, I don't know. I don't remember what Obama was to Israel. I don't know what he was, honestly. So, visiting Israel? So, that's it? That doesn't say, okay, fine, whatever. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's true. Uh, I don't know if I care that statistically speaking, only people that visit the Israel can become statistically US presidents. I don't know if I care one way or the other. Maybe it's true, and maybe it's good. I don't know. I'm not one of those crazy anti-Israel idiots. I'm not anti-Israel, so if it's bothering you that only people that visit Israel can become president, then you need to. I mean, the United States is a democracy, so if you don't like the way the people vote, so maybe you should not be in the United States. If you don't like the United States, I don't know what to tell you. What you're telling me is the voters, the Democratic voters in the United States are this and that. Okay, I don't care. I like democracy. I don't like North Korean type ruthless dictatorship. I don't like China's dictatorship. I don't like Putin. The way, for me, he's not enough of a democracy. There's not enough freedom. So whatever the democratic choices of the people of the United States are, I'm fine with it. I'll try and change it. I mean, if the people start voting for communism and against Israel, then maybe I'll move away. Maybe on that day, I'm no longer going to support the United States. I'm not going to support the United States if it becomes communistic, or if it becomes anti-Israeli. It doesn't make any sense unless Israel does something that I disagree with. But Israel seems to be okay. Not, I mean, you can criticize Israel, but if your criticism of Israel doesn't make any sense to me, then I'm not going to support you. Anyway, let's continue. So, right, nothing exists. Yeah, that was dumb. JFK went on holiday. Most people don't know this. Okay. JFK asked about Israel nukes that went on holiday soon after his demand. No, I think JFK, I don't think he had anything to do with Israel. I think there was another Kennedy that was a senator. Robert Kennedy, was assassinated by a Palestinian, because the Kennedys are pro-Israel. I don't know how pro-Israel JFK was, but I know RFK, the current presidential runner, RFK, I forgot his full name, but he's pro-Israel. So I noticed that Kennedys are in general pro-Israel. So I don't think JFK was murdered because he's pro-Israel, because his murder was just a communist. So it's just communism. And Jelk Nicholson says, do you have an opinion on Michael Hastings? Let me look up Michael Hastings. Never heard this name. Michael Hastings. Michael Hastings, journalist. Let me get the link from Wikipedia. Let me do it in my own server. What's this? Soundboard. Wow. So we can have a soundboard? Okay. That's amazing. Okay, so let's go to general and put the link here. Can you see it? Let me get rid of this. Okay, so Michael Mahon Hastings, January 28, 1980 to, he died 2013, was an American journalist, author, contributing editor to Rolling Stone, and reporter for BuzzFeed. He was raised in New York, Canada, and Vermont, and he attended New York University. Hastings rose to prominence with his coverage of the Iraq War for Newsweek in the 2000s after his, but I never heard of this guy. What's your point? So do I have an opinion? Michael Mahon, a memoir. Let me see. Hastings. After his fiancee was killed in ambush, Hastings wrote his first book. Oh my God, I lost my love. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I'm sorry. This is too difficult. This is too painful. I don't know if I can make it. Hastings. Modern War, a memoir about his relationship with Per Ovick and insurgency that took her life. He received the George Polk Award for Runaway General 2010 Rolling Stone profile of General Stanley McChrystal, Commander NATO International Security Assistance Force. In the Afghanistan War, the article, let me share this tab. I don't like sharing tabs, it's too dangerous. Don't like sharing tabs. Let me see. Hastings became a vocal critic of Obama during the Democratic Party and surveillance state. Well, obviously, I like him. During 2013, Department of Justice investigation reporters referring to restrictions, freedom of the press, war journalism. His last story, Why Democrats Love to Spy on Americans. Well, I love him. Hastings died in an automobile crash June 18, 2013, in Los Angeles, California. The toxicology report showed evidence of THC and methamphetamine. Okay, positivity. Blue Rider Press published his only novel, The Last Magazine, a year after his death. So, yeah, he died maybe because of the love that he lost. It was too painful. He couldn't deal with it. I don't know. Maybe he was just drugged, like for fun and just made a mistake and died in a car accident. So, born in Malone, New York, Michael, why do you know so much? Why do you know so much about this guy? So you're asking, Jailk is asking, do you think the government was involved in his death? Very unlikely. Very unlikely. The government, there's so many critics. He's just another right-wing critic of Democrats. No, I don't think Democrats assassinate. When they assassinate, you see it. Sometimes they have assassins. The left, they grow assassins. You see these mass shooters that shoot up the guy that shot up the Republican baseball game. He shot Republican congressmen and senators, whatever. Let me see this. Look up the circumstances around his accident. Look, Hastings became a vocal critic. Hastings died in automobile crash, toxicology, early life, born, career, I lost my love, Stanley McChrystal interview, other reporting, Occupy Wall Street movement, Bowell, Barghouti, President Obama's foreign policy, death. June 18, 2013. Let me just make sure. Okay. No, Wikipedia jumps every time I switch tabs. Wikipedia jumps all the way to the top, so I have to scroll down. So June. Okay, Hastings died in a single vehicle automobile crash in his Mercedes-Benz T250 coupe at approximately 4:25 a.m. in Hancock Park neighborhood, Los Angeles. A witness to the crash said the car seemed to be traveling maximum speed and was creating sparks and flames before it fishtailed and crashed into a palm tree. Oh my God. Video from a nearby security camera reportedly shows Hastings' vehicle speeding and bursting into flames. Witnesses described the car's engine being ejected 50 to 60 yards from the scene. Hastings' body was burnt beyond recognition. The coroner identified the body by matching fingerprints with those the FBI had on file. 2 days after the crash, Los Angeles Police Department declared that there were no signs of foul play. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. The coroner's report ruled the death to be an accident. An autopsy showed that the cause of death was massive blunt force trauma consistent with high speed crash. The toxicology report showed evidence of THC and methamphetamine positivity. In an interview with the writer Ray Sawhill, Hastings' older brother Jonathan Hastings recounts how he had flown to LA to help his brother shortly before the accident because he had got the impression that he was having a manic episode similar to one he had 15 years ago, at which time drugs had been involved. So it's a relapse. After failing to convince his brother to check voluntarily into a drug rehabilitation program. Look, I don't need to go further. It looks like okay, controversy over alleged foul play. Okay, Jelk says you have to go deep down the rabbit hole for this one. Look, Jelk, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. There's no evidence. I've spent already a lot of time reading. There's no evidence, and if the Democrats did it, then it wouldn't be a big surprise. In general, Democrats, I don't think they do that's how they do their executions. Democrats create Democrats destabilize the masses, and then the masses come after the Republicans, and that's how Democrats get their daily allowance of Republican blood. Democrats are not smart. Democrats are just violent. Democrats create mobs, the, the, the violent mobs. That's all the Democrats know how to do. That's it. That is the nature of the Democratic beast. It's just mobs. They just rally the mobs with their lies, with their endless lies and misinformation and disinformation and malinformation. That's all they're about. They just know how to take the mentally unstable half of the country and create a mob phenomenon and direct the mob at at the Republicans. That's how they usually get Republican blood. They usually don't top to bottom, top. They don't give out commands to assassinate anyone. I don't think so. I mean, they might destabilize a region using different tactics. They give money to bad actors, but I don't think they had this guy assassinated. I don't think he was even on their radar. So there's nothing suspicious. Okay, dude. Well, I just look at it. If there was something suspicious, so what? It would not be the worst thing Democrats have done. Democrats are The nature of the beast is pure evil. We know who they are. So I'm not going to be surprised. There's just no evidence for it in this case. They are far more sinister than just assassinating someone. Just assassinating, that's nothing for them. We wish that's as bad as they would be. They're much more sinister than that. These people are civilization destroyer. These people will destroy, have destroyed every alien civilization. You don't understand how terrible these people are. You don't have to convince me. I'm just saying, if there is foul play here, I wouldn't be surprised, but there doesn't seem to be evidence of it. CIA does not care if it is Democrats or Republicans, their methods are the same. Yeah, but the nature of the beast of the government is leftist. The government by its nature is leftist. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. Look, I've been here for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Next time, come on and we can debate this gladly. I gotta go. I gotta go now. Anyway, everyone, I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your time. Bye.